Hey folks, welcome to the Cripescast. I'm your host, Charlie Behrens. This is where we talk to people for and or from the Midwest, and we are powered by Everlight Solar. Here's today's episode. Welcome to 2025, guys. Isn't that nice? Wow. New year, new you. Or new year, same you, but you just kind of say new year, new you because it sounds good and it'll give you motivation to get your New Year's things going through at least the first 2 weeks, before they all drop off and you're like, yeah, I'll just think about a resolution next year. Anyways, this week we've got two very creative, very funny, very awesome people here. We have Joel Hodgson. It's his second appearance on the Cripescast. He is the creator of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And we also have Wayne White. He is the painter, puppeteer, set designer. He's famous for his work on Pee-wee's Playhouse, Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight music video, The Weird Al Show, Shining Time Station. He's done a lot of great work. He's a 3-time Emmy Award winner. And he is the subject of the documentary Beauty is Embarrassing. Both these guys together are doing a show at Joey's Song. You might remember from years past, we've done episodes like this with all the musicians and artists attending Joey's Song. Joey's Song, for those of you who don't know, it's a festival in Madison that we do once a year. It raises money for kids with juvenile epilepsy. And it is just a fun day of music. And this year they're adding another day of comedy, which Wayne and Joel are pushing. So this year, just real quick, the bands are Portugal the Man, Silverson Pickups, Eve 6, Letters to Cleo, so many more bands playing there. I believe my buddy Butch Vig is going to be there as well. And then the comedy night, it is performances by Dana Gold, Joel Hodgson, Wayne White, a whole lot more. You can get tickets at joeysong.org. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to my conversation with Joel Hodgson and Wayne White. I appreciate you guys coming on. And for people who don't know, Joel, Mystery Science Theater, we had you on the podcast before. People should go check that out. Wayne White, incredible artist, and Wayne, you're known for both doing like the high end art, the stuff you see in galleries and museums and rich people's houses, and then also you're a cartoonist, and you worked on Pee-wee's Playhouse,
yes,
puppetry, everything. So thank you guys for coming on, and obviously the big reason that we're chit chatting is we got Joey's Song coming up again next week. And Joey's Song, Cripescast listeners know that this is an incredible event of music the past few years, where it's all raising money for a very incredible cause. And I'll let people give that a Google, and we've done a bunch of podcasts on that. But this year, there's a whole other day added, and that's a comedy day. And Joel, you're sort of spearheading that. So I kind of want to ping pong between the two of you, but I'll let you sort of give us the inspiration behind all that.
Yeah, well, you and I met was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year, right?
I think that's when we got a real good official chit chat in.
Yeah. And so I was always very enthused about you and found out about you through my friends in Wisconsin. And, I just and of course, then somehow you crept onto my YouTube feed. And I don't know how that happens, but I got a lot of Charlie Behrens through the YouTube feed, which I really loved. And it was really cool. I've been doing, this will be my third year at Joey's Song, and Mike Gamal, the promoter and the creator of the event, decided to blow it up and make it into an actual festival he's calling Freezing Man Festival. And we're doing Friday night, January 10th. It's Hodgson and White's Cheese-Capades. And it's the first time us being in Madison and doing that. And we've got our own band called Packer Country, which are the finest musicians from we've scoured Appleton, Wisconsin, and found the best musicians there, and they're our band. And the truth be told, they're Butch Vig's band. They're the know-it-all boyfriends from Joey's song. So we rely on the Butch Vig, who, as you know, is the guy, the producer behind Nevermind from Nirvana, one of the biggest records of the last century, right? And so we're using his band and doing a bunch of multimedia stuff. And I invited Wayne, Wayne and I have been talking about trying to do something together since COVID, and it kind of evolved into the Cheese-Capades. So that's what's happening. But also the featured act, the guy we really want to hype is Dana Gould's coming, and he's doing Dr. Z, which is just an amazing bit that we're super enthused to have him there.
Well, that's awesome. And so, like, what was kind of, so the night, just to clarify, the way it goes is this just sort of an evening of like comedy and kind of musical comedy, or what can people expect?
Comedy, music, and then of course Dana does Dr. Z, which is, he gets into Dr. Z drag, which looks like Dr. Zaius from Planet of the Apes, and he does amazing stand-up and music. And it's comedy and music. And of course, we're auctioning off Charlie's beer, some beer can, some of his beer can collection, some of his brandy. So we're going to be doing that too. So we've got a unique situation where we're doing you're going to be on the road that night. So we're going to check in with you via phone and run that auction while you're on the road. So we really appreciate that too, man.
No, it's going to be very fun. And I was super bummed when I figured out that, because usually it's the first Saturday in January. And so that's what I blocked off. And then I didn't realize that it was the second weekend January, because it's a weird year, kind of. Yeah. The first weekend comes early. So I'm excited for that. And I do have actually some really good beer cans that are going to be in this collection. And they've been sitting in a place of honor, really, in my basement for a long time, right by my tool shop. And they've been in a pyramid, and now the pyramid is going to get a little bit smaller. And I think it's for a great cause. And by the way, I sort of brushed past what the charitable aspect of Joey's song. So it's childhood epilepsy. It's fighting childhood epilepsy. And last year, didn't they get to $1 million or something like that?
Yeah, from what I understand, it's an amazing event, and it culminates in this big show at the Sylvie in Madison that just has all these. It's kind of like this cornucopia of pop acts, varying. It's pieces of the Bangles, it's pieces of Cheap Trick, people from the Goo Goo Dolls, Fountains of Wayne, Portugal the Man, the Silver Sun Pickups. They all come and do this. They're doing a battle of the bands, and they all switch places and stuff. And when we do our thing on Friday, some of those people we'll be pulling them out of the audience and having them come up and do our train wreck at the end of our show. But so it's an amazing event, and it's not like I can't compare it to really anything that I've seen, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and people really like it. So I guess that's my best shot at describing it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's all we needed. And Wayne, what got you interested in doing this?
Well, I met Joel at a Joyce song in 2012 in Los Angeles. And that's where we first met. And we hit it off.
No, not Joey's song. It was my brother Jim's event.
Oh, yeah.
It was called 20 Wonder. Yeah.
20 Wonder. That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I met Joel at that benefit in 2012 in Los Angeles, and we hit it off. We have so much in common. I'm
a huge fan of Wayne's. I mean, there'd be no MST without Pee-wee's Playhouse, right? Let's just get it out there.
Well, I was a huge fan of Joel's too, MST3K, and a TV show he did called TV Wheel, which is kind of a bit of an insider knowledge. But I love that show, TV Wheel. I don't know if you can find it anywhere now, Joel, but
I bet it's online somewhere.
Yeah, it might be on YouTube, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, that was way back in 2012, and we've been in touch ever since. And we're like two kids in a treehouse. We're talking about all this cool stuff we're going to do, man. We're going to do it. We're going to go do this and that. And we've been like that for like 10 years. Now, finally, we've come out of the treehouse and we've made our little stage, and we're going to put on our show. And it's something I've been dying to do. And we're both, I'm a bit of a ham and a performer myself. I was a puppeteer for years on television with Pee-wee's Playhouse and other TV shows. And I've done a stage show myself, a one-man show that I used to tour around when my movie first came out. There's a documentary about me called Beauty is Embarrassing. It came out in 2012 that a few people might know about. It's still on Amazon and Netflix. Anyway, I promoted that movie with a talk where I played banjo and cracked wise and stuff. So I love to get on the stage and be funny. And as you know, Charlie, there's nothing better in the world than getting a laugh. I mean, come on. It's like heroin.
Yeah, it really is. It's the heroin that won't kill you right there. And it's but it's cool that, I mean, Joel, hearing that Wayne inspired you in MST3K. I mean, it was kind of what Pee-wee's Playhouse did. For those who don't really know kind of where that came in the culture and the time, can you kind of explain that? Because for before that, like the puppets, when you thought of puppets, you thought of Jim Henson, and sort of Pee-wee's Playhouse kind of turned that on its head a little bit. And some people thought it was like great kids programming. Other people thought it was like kind of a creepy, bad acid trip, but all in a good way. You know what I mean? So
I think, I wanted to say something about that. I think Pee-wee's Playhouse was the Muppet killer.
Yeah.
If you ask me. Like after Pee-wee's Playhouse did the Muppets, if you look at their timeline, they became completely irrelevant for a really long time.
Yeah, we meant to do
disrupted. It's so deconstructed puppetry that they just couldn't get their bearings the longest time. I don't know if they ever recovered.
I haven't seen Elmo ever since. And I don't even know
where is he?
MIA.
It is funny. That was on my mind when I was designing the puppets and stuff. It's like, I don't want these to be like the Muppets at all. These are going to be the anti-Muppets. I'm going to bring back a new kind of breed, a new kind of genre of puppetry. And that definitely was on my mind. But
well, one thing I want to do, Charlie, really quickly is not only did Wayne design and build those puppets, he voiced them too. Like he was Dirty Dog. He was Randy, the like marionette, the badass marionette guy. Can you do Randy for us, man? Just do the voice.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hey, Pee-wee, smoking's cool. Yeah.
He does that all the time for me.
Sometimes when you can't sleep, he just calls you up.
Randy, tell me to
Charlie, you stupid cheesehead.
Joe, do you ever call Wayne when you can't sleep and just get a bedtime story?
Yeah. Sing to me as Randy.
Fall to sleep, little Joel, you stupid cheesehead. I'm going to steal stuff while you're sleeping.
That actually would be a great service these days. You know, before AI does that on its own, you got to like offer that service.
Wake up! Wake up!
So what goes into sort of creating like at that time, again, did you guys know that sort of Pee-wee's Playhouse would be the sort of cultural thing it became?
Well, sort of did, because Paul Rubens, Pee-wee Herman was at the height of his powers. He had just done Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie with Tim Burton, and he was hot as a pistol. And then CBS picked him up for the series, and we knew that something big was going to happen because he was just so popular. He was everywhere in the culture. And we weren't sure, but we had an inkling that it was going to take off, and it really did. It changed my life significantly. I mean, it just completely, that's the reason I'm here today talking to you. You know, And it was quite a zeitgeisty thing to ride through the 80s and be a young artist in New York and be able to get our crazy art form on the screen. The design and the art you see on Pee Wee's Playhouse was from the heart. We weren't trying to pander or try to please somebody. We were doing what we wanted to do. We were doing it for ourselves, and it looked like our art. It looked like our cartoons. The power of the Playhouse was that he didn't hire the regular old TV hacks to do it. We were all new to TV. We were all painters and cartoonists and performance artists. And we brought this fresh kind of downtown New York art feel to it. It was like an art project that managed to get on CBS television, which was a super rare thing. And that was the essence and the power of it, that it was coming from the heart, from real artists,
Yeah, I mean, and kind of on that note, you've seen sort of the many different phases of art come and go through the years as it pertains to like, the pure art world, and also like how the pure art world, how it does or doesn't kind of get into mainstream. Have you noticed any patterns, or do you have any thoughts on the trajectory of where we're going as it pertains to how people consume art and how people create art?
Well, first of all, I have a mortal fear of AI. AI is really going to mess with things, and I don't want to be negative about that right off the bat.
Wayne, the last time we talked, you weren't afraid of it at all, man.
I am AI. This is not really me right now. I am an AI image.
That was 6 months ago. You said, that's it, man. Don't worry about it. And now you're worried about it. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I stay awake at night worrying about it. But as far as the intersection of fine art and commercial world, I don't think there's ever been another thing quite like Pee Wee. I mean, it was the perfect storm. Paul Rubens was an artist himself. He was an former art student. He was hip to art. He had all this power at his disposal, huge amount of celebrity power. So he used that power to bring fine art into television. And I don't think anybody's quite done it the same since, And that's why it's still unique and why it still stands out, that there was somebody in power, Paul, that could dictate these kind of experimental avant-garde ideas into the mainstream. And when you get them into the mainstream, they're not that scary. In fact, they're fresh. People like them. People like something new under the sun, So I think there's still hope for it, but I don't know. It's a completely different world now. I mean, there's so many things at your disposal now online, and things are still bleeding together in strange and crazy ways. I'm all about just not worrying about genres, not worrying about labels, not worrying about anything. Just try to stick things together, try to make a painting into a TV show, try to make a TV show into a painting, jump back and forth between genres and be fearless about it. There's nobody telling you what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way,
I wanted to interrupt too, man. I'm sorry, but I wanted to say that, my kids are, in college now, and it was like we made it a point to sit them down and show Pee Wee's Playhouse. We watched we got that box set and watched the whole thing from beginning to end, just because it seems so in its own way, as weird as it sounds, it's actually really good for kids to see it, because it's just so wildly creative and genuinely funny and great. I just wanted to say that.
No, I totally agree on that. I mean, like I said, I grew up on it, and I loved it. You talk to some people, and it's almost like depending on the age when they see it. Like, I think kids see it as like this fun thing, and then you hit this certain age where you're like, oh my gosh, that's wild. Kids, it's almost like when you're a kid and you're watching Zoobilee Zoo. Do you guys ever remember that show? And then I watched that, and then Barney killed Zoobilee Zoo. So I've had a thing against Barney ever since. But I go watch Zoobilee Zoo, and I showed it to somebody, and they're like, the hell, you watched that as a kid? But there's something about a kid's imagination that gravitates towards something like Pee-wee's Playhouse. And I don't know. I've just always been a fan. But I do want to pick up on one thing that you said, Wayne, about AI, because I'm kind of with you on a lot of that sort of stuff. But how do you think AI is going to affect the art world? And how have you seen it already affect the art world?
Well, it's not good. I'm a pessimist about AI. I don't see anything good about it at all. I think it's taken away the craft of being an artist. I think it's imposing on the craft of learning how to draw and paint and training your mind through that process to think about the world. With AI, it's just all shortcuts. You don't have to learn to draw or paint. You just push some buttons, and everybody goes, well, it's really about the idea. No, it's about the actual craft and body, your body being involved with it, your hand and eye. That's the profound sacred part of art, the connection between the hand and the eye, the gestures. It's like sports, You want to see a AI sports team? No, AI artists are like athletes. It's all about the body and the body's involvement in the object you're creating and the body's communication with other bodies. AI, there's no body. It's just this creepy overlord mind, that has nothing to do with human body or biology or connections. It's like when I see an AI image, it reminds me of a corpse, an embalmed corpse. I call it the corpse of art.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you said 6 months ago, and I thought that meant that you had this solved. But
No.
You're alarmed about. You're flying the flag against it.
I am flying the flag.
Here's my piece on AI. I think that it's kind of taken the thing. Your reward is to get to make stuff as a successful person.
Yeah.
And a person in their leisure. It's the thing we're kind of designed to do as human beings is to make. So why do we need a service?
I know.
Write songs for us or write movies or poems or art. It's like we don't need it. It's kind of like there is something at play there that kind of feels like, oh, we're just going to shuttle this away from human beings.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of the best things about us that makes us, and so to start to remove that a little bit is going to change us. And, that's how I look at it. I don't know.
It's profoundly anti-human as far as I'm concerned. But what am I going to do? I can't do anything about it. It's coming. It's coming fast. It's going to roll over the world. It's going to change the world. And, hopefully I'll get to spend the rest of my life doing stuff the old-fashioned way, and people will still respect it and want it, but it's going to profoundly change the world of creativity.
From here on out, you're going to be running from an AI robot that's hunting you.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And it's like, it's like I said, it's all back to bodies communicating with other bodies. We're human beings, being on stage as a comedian, it's about your body. You're there in person, and you're speaking these, and people are watching your body language, and they're hearing the sounds coming out of your human mouth. That's all. You take it all for granted, but when you take all that away and it's boiled down to some computers coming up with ideas, it's chilling. It's like we're just animals communicating with each other, and now we're going to be ruled by a machine, by this, Anyway, this is getting too pessimistic.
No, I mean, look, that's a tough thing to. I'm with you on this. It is a tough thing to talk about it because you feel like you're being pessimistic, but nobody is really having this conversation about it. You even listen to like the tech guys that are involved in it, like the Elon Musk of the world, and he'll say in podcasts, I think that there's only a 20% chance that these robots end humanity. And you're like, whoa. He said that many times. It's like, who elected you to decide the rest of our fate? And that's just on the X risk of these things taking over, which depending on which expert you talk to, it's between 20% and 99.9% certain that when you create a new species that is smarter than everybody, it will take them over.
Yeah.
But I think what you're bringing up also, Wayne, is just something I've thought about is like the taking away the creative process from people or the motivation to be creative.
Yeah.
If that's no longer, like, creativity has saved quite a few human minds from self-sabotage, from drugs, from a lot of things.
I'm a living example of that. It saved my life. It gave me a sense of purpose, and I grew up in the South in the 60s and the 70s, and that was a really oppressive place for a creative artist, and it saved my life. It led me to where I wanted to go, but I had to pay my dues. I had to learn the chops. I had to literally go out there just like an athlete and practice every day and get my body in shape and get my hand and eye working together. Again, right? It's all back to the hand and the eye, it's all back to the body, really. AI is anti-human body, and it's also anti-play. The essence and the best part of art is play. And that's what comedy's about. It's all about playing with each other and playing. People love to play, and they love to see somebody that can play good, and they want to play with you. When you do a comedy, when you're in a club and you're doing your act on the stage, you're playing and you're inviting people to play with you. And it's a joyous thing. AI can't do that,
Yeah. And I agree. I don't necessarily know what to do about it. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
it also spurs my natural contrarian spirit. I mean, that's been my MO since I was a kid. I'm a contrarian, Mm-hmm. I love, and it I thrive in a sense of defiance, I thrive when somebody says, "No, what are you doing? You can't do that." "Oh yeah, well, I'll show you."
Yeah, right.
I sort of run on spite,
Yeah, it's good to know what fuels you. It's good to know, because if you get non-motivated, you got to go find more of that fuel somewhere. Luckily for you, there's a lot of spike fuel in the world right now, so you should be okay for a good amount of time.
I think all artists and creative people, comics, dancers, painters, writers, are contrarians. Because the world really doesn't. The sensible workaday world doesn't want you to be an artist, especially our American culture. We don't support artists. We think they're frivolous. We have that horrible, stupid thing calling them artistes. I hate it when people say that word. It's like we think they're a frivolous they're not needed. We don't need you in American culture because we got our trucks and our hard work, and we got to do our work. And there's this guy over here with his head in the clouds. We don't support that. But actually, it's a very important thing, as we all know. And so you have to learn. You have to. I think you too. I think all three of us have been inspired by a sense of defiance and contrariness. I mean, that's what humor is being contrary. No, it's this way. Oh, really? And you surprise people with your contrary attitude.
Yeah, it's flipping the perspective, and you're right that's never been something. That's always been something that's sort of forced its way into American culture as opposed to being invited in. Because American culture is a lot about. You look at what's driving AI. What's driving AI is the drive for power and the drive for money. And I think some people have this drive that it'll make the world a utopia. But I think largely that one might be misguided, as I don't think a utopia is what even we want. But no. But the money and the power, that drives. You look around, throw a stone, that drives it all.
It's money. It's always money. There's no mystery about that. It always comes down to money and the will to power. So, man, we're having fun.
I know. Hey, I do this all the time.
Cheese-Capades, January 10th. This is High Noon Saloon.
Yes, we're going to do an anti-AI show January 10th.
Anti-AI.
High Noon Saloon,
It's a
Madison,
rally.
Wisconsin. We're going to show you what real human beings are capable of.
It's a rally.
Folks, excuse the interruption, but I want to let you know that the Cripescast is presented and powered by Everlight Solar. Make 2025 the year you finally schedule yourself an Everlight Solar consultation. The Cripescast studio has been powered by Everlight Solar for a few years now, and I got to tell you, it's been constant and cost-effective power. If you're a regular Cripescast listener, you know that I really like the environment. I also am Midwest cheap, so I like saving money where I can, and that's what these solar panels offer. If you want solar panels on your roof, check out everlightsolar.com for a free consultation. See how solar panels can work for you. And also, folks, we got the brandy glasses in. You've seen them in a lot of the videos where you can pour to a muskie, a walleye, or a perch. They are back in stock. They are on manitowocman.com. Just click on the merch section. And we've also got a bunch of other Midwest merch there. Got some Barron's Old Fashioned Brandy merch there, some playing cards, cribbage boards, hoodies, T-shirts, the whole deal. Check us out, manitowocman.com. And with that, let's get back to my conversation with Joel Hodgson and Wayne White. Back to the show. We've all had our nice, we got off on our nice exit ramp. We stopped at a quick trip. We discussed AI around the coffee at the quick trip, back on the highway of this year's Joey's Song and festivities. So how can people go about finding tickets and everything?
Yeah, please go to joeysong.org, and that'll direct you to Ticketmaster. We still got good seats still available. We'd love you to come down. High Noon Saloon in Madison. The show starts at 7 p.m. and it's like I said, we got Packer Country there, our amazing Wisconsin show band. Dana Gould's coming as Dr. Z, which is really going to be fun. And then Wayne and I are doing some surveys of stuff that we find interesting. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a multimedia show with music and drinking.
Yeah,
so, that's part of it too.
Joel and I are doing several musical numbers together. I play banjo. Joel plays guitar.
We sing kinda, and it's gonna be. We've been talking about this for years, and we want to thank Mike Gamal for giving us a chance to take a run at it. It's really going to be cool. So yeah,
and I'm super excited to be working with Joel too. I mean,
we've been having fun. It's been great. So, and getting to collaborate with Wayne, he's always been a hero of mine. And
same here.
His one-man show really inspired my one-man show. I took ideas from him, and I always take stuff from Wayne. It's good stuff. Don't worry about AI taking your shit. Worry about me taking your shit.
Joe, by the way, before we kind of close out, for people who didn't hear the last podcast that you were on, that I recommend everybody go and listen to, but how was MST3K inspired by Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Oh my goodness. I think the biggest thing to me was they really dropped into, in my mind, it was a love letter to TV from the past, and everything that I loved about it was in camera. And even the stuff that had special effects was in camera, because you remember you go in the refrigerator and it was that Prudence Fenton that was doing the stop motion stuff?
Yeah, Prudence Fenton.
Yeah, Prudence Fenton was a friend of mine too, and I met her back in the day in LA. And I think she was the first person from Pee-wee's Playhouse that I met. But I just thought all of it was this lovely, brilliant confection of really hip comedy, but also adorable characters. It's an amazing thing. So I think when I started really seriously, we, did Mystery Science Theater locally, I felt obliged, and I felt very comfortable going for that in-camera world where there's really no digital effects. And I just liked that very much. I felt comfortable doing that because I could fabricate stuff. And that's kind of how it all started, was really me making everything that we did for the pilot. And then over time, when we got to do it for real, everybody got involved and everybody got making stuff. And I relied on, it's TV is really a group venture, and you can't really do it alone. You got to do it with a lot of other people. And at Best Brains, which was the production company, I just happened to find these great people in Minneapolis, and we did it all there. But just the idea that if you kept the rules really simple for production, which I think you do, Charlie, too, the way you make your things it's very anchored to the world and what's available, and you just make it fly, man. I've seen you become a lady just by putting a hat on. You play a lady part with just a hat. So I kind of go, oh yeah, he didn't Kids in the Hall it where it's like perfect makeup and hair and clothes. It's like Charlie put on a hat and he's a lady now.
It's the do-it-yourself human touch. People crave that. People want that and need that. And also people want and need something that's done out of a sense of real love, Yeah. And you can sense that.
That's right. Affection. You know what? We left this out of the equation with AI, but affection and making stuff that's adorable and fun is really part of it too. It's not just being funny, but there's affection too in there. And I think that's really, really part of the deal, when you're making something for people that, it's all mixed, it's all blended in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a nice thing to come out of sort of the digital deal, is just more people have an opportunity to showcase their art and so it's not all bad. I mean, that's been obviously huge for me and a lot of other folks. But that idea that you can just boil it down, and they don't care if your microphone's sitting on your shirt. Right. They don't care. It's a little bit dirty, but you are getting across the heart of it, which I think people enjoy. And I hope, because as annoyed as I am with many aspects of AI, I do hope that people keep looking for the people in each other, and instead of just making their back sore by going like this all day, or as soon as those brain implants come in, just going like this all day. What do you guys have? What advice, I guess, do you have for young artists, musicians, comedians, whatever it may be, producers coming up today, just young artists? What advice do you have for them in this ever-changing art world?
I'd say don't think too much. Just get in it and start, and just see what happens when you're in front of an audience. Because when I started out as a stand-up, that was really it. It was really, I'd work the material, but you were relying on the audience to kind of shape it with you and find out if you're getting somewhere. And I just think that's kind of the piece that you'll need eventually, is getting it in front of people. And the sooner you can do that, the better. That's my piece. What about you, Wayne?
I say create your own opportunities. Create your own world. Don't wait to plug yourself into an institution or a conventional system. Create your own system. Go out on the street if you have to. Like for me, I did my own homemade puppet shows, and that led to Pee-wee's Playhouse. I didn't wait around. I didn't go with my hat in my hand around begging people to give me work. I started to work and made my own world, and the world came to me because I was generating this positive sense of myself, and that attracted. And so you can attract stuff by being yourself. Create your own world first. Don't wait for the funding or some big shot to hire you or to be accepted into a system. Be your own system, and things will come to you.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of this. I was at the I don't know if it was a zoo or if it was a museum. I think it was a museum in some city, and there was a big old butterfly display where you walk in and the butterflies fly on you and stuff. And it had this sign, and it said, "Don't don't go chasing butterflies. Just make a great garden and they'll come to you. You know?
Right.
And,
the laws of attraction.
Yes. Yes.
People are attracted to somebody who's who's doing their thing. You know, don't be a victim, and don't be a supplicant. You know, can I come in here, please? No, here I am. Look at this shit. Look at me. You know, that attracts. You know, be bold and forget the insecurity. Be bold. You know, you only have, like, if you're lucky, 90 years on this planet. You know, that's nothing. You know, what does it matter? You know, just go for it. You know?
Yeah. And when you were doing those puppet shows at your home, like, what you made them and you invited people, and that was the deal?
I would do them at my house. I would do them at drunken keg parties. I would do them on the street. I would do whenever anybody invited me to do it. And I just did it out of pure love and a pure sense of play. And that attracted the big shots at CBS. You know, I didn't go to them. They came to me because they heard about what I was doing, you know? Yeah. So it's like, create your own thing, man. It doesn't matter how down and dirty or do it yourself it is. People love that.
There's nothing cooler, Wayne, than a punk rock puppet show. If you ask me, man.
Yeah. Joel and I came up during punk rock, and that was a huge influence on us both. That was all about do it yourself. Create your own band, create your own sound. You don't have to have all this fancy equipment and stuff. Just go for it. You know, Joel and I are both a pure product of punk rock.
Well, let me paint a picture for you, Charlie, because you were really young at this time. But in about 1978 the world just changed, because prior to that, it was arena rock. You had Journey, you had Kiss, you had Kansas and Foreigner, and they all kind of had these big arena rock shows, and they were all millionaires, right? The idea was, you're a rock star millionaire, and we're going to go to these big arenas and do this. And it was the year Emerson, Lake and Palmer was traveling with a 200-piece orchestra and acoustically tuning the Brown County Arena to do a concert, and that's when it all imploded and punk rock started. It's just like, hey, you got some friends and a guitar and a bass, go to a club and play. And it all started over in 1978. And I had just finished high school, and Wayne is a couple years older, but we were in that, and it was kind of like saying, hey, you know, you just saw this giant thing just kind of crumble under its weight, and we're starting over, so you can get in on it now. So that was kind of where we were at. It was funny. Yeah,
we were crawling from the wreckage, man, and telling everybody, hey, man, let's do it ourselves. You know, we don't need millions of dollars of equipment. We don't need all this stuff. We got a screwed up little amplifier and a guitar and a drum set. Let's bang it out, man. And people responded to that, and it changed the world.
Yeah. I mean,
Pee Wee's Playhouse was definitely punk rock. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Well, and the sentiment, couldn't be any more important today to kind of do that same thing. When you have sort of this big daunting thing, you have a million different gatekeepers, but just doing it yourself, because I think when you do it yourself, from my experience, you just find the love of doing the thing. Yeah. And
that attracts.
Yes. And
your love attracts people. Give the world your love. You know, it may crush your soul, but at least you try. But it will attract people if it's sincere and you have something to say. You know, it's all about the heart. You know, it's all from the heart.
Absolutely. And the self-fulfillment that you get by just doing it, whether or not anybody else sees it, that's where it kind of starts, and that'll continue guiding you through the years as the waves of the career go up and down. At least I've found that. So, but guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, one more thing, Charlie.
Yes.
Look at this. I've got my own beer.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Who brews that?
That's from my hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
No way.
Down in Chattanooga. It's kind of a tri-state area.
I'm the only guy without an alcoholic beverage.
I got a brandy.
Got the brandy.
Are you drinking that beer right now?
No, it's empty.
Oh, okay. Joel, you gotta get something,
to, man.
You're gonna be in Madison. There, I mean, no better place to find a brewery. Yeah, there's
some kind of heady session beer.
Yeah,
it crowds your palate and your mind with too many flavors.
Yeah,
Hodgson Ale. I don't know.
Wait, I had a great name for a beer. Hodgepodge Lodge.
Oh, Hodgepodge Lager.
Hodgepodge Lager.
Lodger. Or Hops.
Hobson's Hoppy.
Yeah, something. So we'll spitball it. We got time.
We'll brainstorm that later.
Before I go, we ask everybody, what makes you say cripes? And if you're unfamiliar with the term cripes, it's like, cripes. Jeez Louise. It's kind of like a pet peeve, What makes you say cripes?
I'm going to have to say AI. AI makes me say cripes.
Yeah.
We're on the same page there, Wayne.
I think, man, it's been a while, but I cut my hand the other day, and when that happens, I just hate it. I go cripes when that happens.
How'd you cut your? I would say cripes if I cut my hand too. What do you mean?
It's funny, man. So we've been prepping for this show, and there's my assistant Dave's driving from where I'm at in outside of Philly. He's driving with all our stuff we've got. We've got a whole bunch of gear and stuff we're bringing and funny stuff. And so he's getting ready to move all that. And I had to move it all downstairs, and I was moving stuff around, and I had a bunch of tools out in the front room, and I'm like, reach my hand. And then there was like this really sharp, like branch cutter was in my toolbox, and I just pushed it into my hand, and I'm going, cripes.
Joel, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a life lesson right there. Never just stick your hand blindly into a toolbox, a tackle box, or a junk drawer. Okay. Way too many thumbtacks in the junk drawer. Yeah. But we got to relearn those life lessons over and over again, I suppose.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And again, January 10th at the High Noon Saloon, Hodgson and White's Cheese-Capades, featuring Dana Gould as Dr. Z. Just want to hype that.
And where can people get tickets?
At joeysong.org, please.
Awesome. Well, thank you, fellas. Wayne, so nice to meet you. And
nice to meet you, Charlie.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Charlie.
much.
Thanks a lot, Charlie.
We'll see ya. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, that is it for this week. Make sure you follow Joey's Song at Joey's Song. Get tickets at joeysong.org. Follow Mystery Science Theater 3000 at MST3K. Follow Wayne at Wayne White Art. And you can follow us too, the Cripescast at Cripescast, anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you can make it to Joey's Song. Everyone keep her moving and watch for deer.
So roll out the barrel and get the band brewing. Life's got you down, just keep her moving. It's on Wisconsin, the Badgers say it's the old Wisconsin Jubilee.
Sometimes when you're ice fishing, you put your foot into walleye hole and go ass over tea kettle and you think you're done. No, you gotta keep her moving.